Alright, most of us here drive a car on a daily basis. And while we drive, we all like to multitask to save time on our busy days. But all these things we do in the car cause distractions while we drive and can leave us more susceptible to accidents and potentially death. The purpose of my speech today is to have you guys to not do these dangerous things to become better, safer drivers. Almost everyone here drives a car and multitasks, unless you're Francisco and you like to walk. Some people do crazy things while they drive, such as listen to music too loud. I do it. I just dropped a $2,400 system in the car. She even has a system. I've seen people read on the freeway while they're driving, which is crazy. Guys, I've seen you shave. And girls, putting on makeup. I'm pretty sure everyone here has been caught putting on makeup while they drive. Also, I've seen people brush their teeth, change their clothes. We all like to eat, or else, there would be no point of drive-thrus. Despite all the laws, cell phones, we all use them, we text, we call. And even people still drink and drive. The three most common distractions that I'm going to focus on are using cell phones while driving, eating and driving, and the worst of the three, drinking alcoholic beverages while driving. First, about cell phones, despite the risk, the majority of teen drivers ignore the cell phone driving restrictions. I personally use my cell phone in the car. I used to be guilty of this, however, now ever since I read how horrible this is, I just have whoever's in the car with me answer my phone for me, or text back whoever texts me so that I can drive safely without running the risk of crashing. I don't even use my Bluetooth anymore because how long it takes me to fiddle with the damn thing just to get in my ear, and by that time I've had my hands and eyes off the road for long enough to where I could end up in a crash. As embarrassing as this is for me, actually, according to Edgar Snyder of the law firm, says that in 2007, teens of ages between 16 and 17 used cell phones and text messaging while driving, contributed to nearly 1,000 crashes. Each year, 21% of fatal car crashes involving teenagers between the ages 16 and 19 were the result of using their cell phones. This result has been expected to grow for about 4% every year. Teens say that texting is their #1 distraction while driving. I'm pretty sure that's actually common for all of us here. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the dangers of eating and drinking non-alcoholic beverages while driving. A new study has shown that a staggering 80% of all car accidents and 65% of all near misses are caused by distracted drivers who are more focused on their burgers than the road. This is according to the study of the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. As embarrassing as this is for me, about 2 years ago, I was on my way home from school and I stopped off to get some Wendy's. On the way home, I looked down to take a drink of my soda. By the time I looked up, it was too late and I actually ran at the guy in front of me, which actually pushed him into the car in front of him. I got off pretty easy because the guy I hit was driving on a suspended license and actually shouldn't have been on the road. That just goes to show you that anything can happen at any given time while you drive. In addition to food, hot beverages is one of the biggest distractions, bringing the new meaning to the adage, don't drink and drive. The reasoning why hot beverages are so dangerous while driving is because if spilled, it takes your eyes off the road, and it can burn your life. If you're like me and are extremely anal about your car, you know if anything, even water, spill in your car, you're more worried about that staining your car or ruining the electricals or whatever. And even if there's someone in the car with me, I'm still more focused on that stain than actually what I'm supposed to be doing, which is driving. In a separate study of 1,000 drivers done by ExxonMobil Corporation, discovered that more than 70% of drivers eat while they drive, and more than 83% of drivers drink non-alcoholic beverages while driving. The final thing I'm going to talk about is the statistics about the dangers of drinking alcoholic beverages while driving. Alcohol-related car crashes kills someone 30 minutes and injures someone every 2 minutes. My mom is part of this statistic. When she was 15 years old, she was hit by a drunk driver. She was fortunate enough to only suffer minor injuries, which consist of a couple bruises, and she bit through her tongue. Her boyfriend at the time who was driving actually had many stitches and ended up in the hospital for a week. It was a head-on crash, with no brakes applied, and on a 2-lane highway. Still to this day, drunk driving is a leading criminal cause of death. More than 17,000 people are victims of the drunk driving accidents every year. Approximately 40% of all motor vehicle fatalities are alcohol related. 2 years ago, one of my good friends was on his way home from a party and he actually had too much to drink. He thought it'd be a fun idea to actually race the car next to him, and when he started racing the car next to him, he actually clipped, which caused him to lose control, and he ended up hitting a light pole. He wasn't wearing his seatbelt, which actually cost him his life. To this day, I wear this necklace as a constant reminder that life is fragile and can be taken from us at any time. I was actually on my way home from a friend's house, and I drove past the scene of his accident, not knowing it was him. And I didn't find out until the next day that it was my friend until I was on MySpace and I saw in bulletins that one of my good friends has died. So it kind of is a weird feeling, physically being so close to him, but yet mentally and emotionally I had no idea. Drinking and driving has taken the life of my friend and has taken the life of many friends. I used to think that Pete's death only affected me and his family. I now know that drunk driving accidents affects everyone. These accidents cost the public around $114.3 billion a year, and so far in 2009, there have been over 2,500 deaths because of drinking. So not only does drunk driving cause heartache for the people who have lost loved ones, like myself, it also affects the cities, states, and government budgets. The bottom line is, don't do anything stupid while you drive. There are already enough distractions as it is. Don't add to how dangerous it is by driving and trying to save time, when in the end, it could cost you your life.
All right, Joshua, I thought that you had a nice inclusive statement at the beginning. Your goal's pretty clear. There's a solid preview of what the contents are going to be. Seems a little strange to me to be including the drinking issue that you've got in the third point with the other two issues, because it's less about distraction. I think if you're going to focus on distraction, stick with the distraction issues. That one seems separate. Although at the end of the speech, I did think that it did kind of fit together, because your thesis seems to shift a little bit away from just the distraction issues to being responsible when driving, and I think maybe that's a more general and more appropriate thesis for you to have. It's well organized, it's pretty easy to follow. I was a little worried at first because it sounded like on the first point that you were not going to provide us with any data on the cell phone issues, and then you did follow up with some data, and then I thought you did a good job on the other 2 points as well, providing us with some information there and giving us some citations on that material. The personal stories work well to get us to empathize with your situation and to recognize things that we see in ourselves. I think your delivery is pretty solid. Your vocal delivery is especially good. Your eye contact, it's a little inconsistent. You do tend to look up a little bit, but you're not always engaging the audience. In other words, your head's up, but you're not always looking at people. It's just kind of you're a little downcast. Sometimes you look up, but I think you need to be a little bit more consistent about that. All right, thank you.